Good evening, and welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come to you to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to live a healthier lifestyle. The purpose of this podcast is to make you more aware or to give you knowledge on everyday things that are happening in your life that might cause you to deviate from living a healthier lifestyle. So these are things to make your life better. We look at things physically, socially, emotionally, mentally, financially, all of those areas that make the well-being of an individual. So we also have to look at things that make us feel good. So I think that's what this topic is about this evening, is something that makes you feel good. And it's one of my favorite topics this evening, which is gardening. So I'm Anna. I am an author, a health consultant. I'm also a independent cake certified cake instructor. Um, I'm an owner of the Jazzy Jewels collection, which I do 3 times a week. And I believe that's all of my goodies for you this evening. So we're just going to do a few little housekeeping bits here. I do. Hello. Thanks for hopping on. Thank you so much. Good evening to you. I do want you all to realize that if you're on Facebook, that you can support me by sending stars. You know, stars help me earn money to make more content. I'm always trying to find new things and things that we can do also. I just mentioned to you about me going live. This is my Facebook. And this is my Instagram, because I do go live on my Instagram as well. Okay. And so for those who are watching who might be interested in maybe an advertising a spot or a sponsor, we are taking, Sweet Blessings is taking those commercial and guest spots. So to secure your spot, you can go to lustine1@gmail.com or CTR Media Network. This is my website there, as well as I also have a bit there. That is, both of those are my website. So you can reach me there, and if you have any questions. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take a brief commercial. And then when we come back, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is gardening. So we're going to transfer. How do we transfer our outdoors? So we're going to talk a little bit about the art and science of gardening and landscaping, uh, which is a work in progress for me. I'm still learning that as well. Okay, so let's take that brief commercial, and then we will be right back to delve right into our. Hold on, let me get to it. We'll be right back to talk about the gardening and landscaping. Just want to make sure I get to the right one. All right, we are back, and welcome again to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. This evening, our show is on gardening, the art and science of gardening. So I'm going to pull up my presentation slide here. Hold on. Okay, so we want to transfer the outdoors. We want to make it look beautiful. And it doesn't matter whether you are in an apartment, a house, or whatever. A garden is a garden. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of garden that are available. And there's many types. So as you can see, I'm going to go. The first one that I'm going to kind of talk about is a vegetable garden. So growing vegetables and herbs for personal consumption, which also promotes healthy eating and self-sufficient there. So I am an avid gardener, and I do have a vegetable garden. I put a question in for the show. I put a question in, what kind of garden do you have? And I have an herb garden, a vegetable garden, and a flower garden. So I have, kind of all of them. But I started very, very slow with my garden. Now, the other one, which I just said, is a flower garden. So you have your planting flowers to create visibility, to make your landscape appealing and attract pollination, which is, birds and butterflies and all of those things. So when you plant those flowers and things, you get pollination. The animals and really truly the monarch butterfly is becoming extinct, so they're trying to save that one, and it's such a beautiful animal. So, and then the next one is container garden. So a lot of people who are in apartments, let's go back. A lot of people who are in apartments and things like that, they might have a container garden as well. Going back a little bit, I thought I had a picture of it, but I guess I don't have a picture of the container garden. In the container garden, all that is using pots and containers to grow plants suitable for small spaces like the balcony or your patio. Now, what I learned, and this was last year, I went to the library. My library has lots and lots and lots of interesting workshops. And so I went to one of the workshops, and the name of the workshop was called um, Growing Gardens in Any Container. And it was such an amazing class because she used just you just everyday containers. Like sometimes when you go to the restaurant, you get the little uh, uh, black covers and it has the plastic on top. She even used that, y'all. She used milk cartons. Okay, she used egg cartons, and it was just an interesting thing. So, um, container gardens can be just as small and elaborate as you uh, would like. Um, this year, I tried it last year, it didn't work. But this year, I am going to try to grow at least one of my tomato plants in a container. My neighbor's really good at it. I just always put mine in the ground. But I'm going to, I experiment every year, and I suggest to everyone that they experiment as well. And then the next one I wanted to talk about was the raised garden. That's where you see the boxes, and then you see plants within those boxes. What it does, it utilizes the elevation of the soil beds to improve drainage, so it makes drain. And that's why my tomatoes did not that I had in the container did not grow, because I did not have enough drainage Believe it or not, I did not have enough drainage in it. Also, Dr. Ramsey said, hello. Hello, how are you? Thanks for hopping on this evening. All of you, I want to learn about gardens. So it is that time of the year for garden seasoning. And I believe this is my second one on gardening. So this year will be the first year that I will have a raised garden. Now, what am I planting there? I want to plant watermelons because last year I was very successful with watermelon and I didn't have a raised garden. And so that's all I want in that raised garden is watermelons. So I have my seedings on my back porch, which I'm going to transfer into my raised beds. And we'll see what will happen. Maybe I'll take some pictures and post and post them on uh, Facebook. But there are some benefits to gardening. The first benefit that I really and truly wanted to talk about was health, the health benefits. Believe it or not, physical activity uh, from gardening improves fitness. It reduces your stress and it enhances your mental well being. It also helps in relationship to the environment. So, garden provides habitat for wildlife. It contributes to the biodiversity, and it can improve the air quality because plants do give off carbon. Uh, uh, I think it's carbon monoxide, oxygen. Anyway, we gather the oxygen from that, but that is um, a good thing. You know what I learned too? Each year I told you I learned something different. But what I learned also was that they say that in the fall you want to clean your ground, but you don't want to clean it. You want to leave some stuff down, like because sometimes the animals and stuff are good for the soil and so forth. So, um, like I said, it's trial and error. It's been trial and error for me. I've been doing it for quite some time, and I'm still having. I still have some success, and I still have some failures. But that's okay because I keep trying, and that's what it's all about. In anything that you do, you want to just keep on trying. So, it's also economical. Now you might not think that a garden can be economical, but it is because growing your own food reduces your grocery bill. Okay, and it can be a cost-effective hobby. I love growing my food. This year I plan to have beans. I got beans plant, tomatoes, peppers, just all kinds of things. It's okay if it's not if it doesn't come out. The thing of it is you just keep trying. I mean, there have been summers wrong where I have had one green pepper, just one green pepper. But the idea is that it came up, so that was some success, so it kept me going. So I'm still now I'm doing what is it called, heirlooms. I'm the peppers I'm doing now. I know the peppers I'm doing now is uh purple or something. I thought I would try something different. I thought I would do some different things with the garden. So, and that's what you should do. You should do trial and error with your garden. So, let's talk about she said, keep on keeping on. That's right. You got to keep on keeping on. So don't, start small because that's what I did. I started small. And I'm going to really tell you, I started with annuals. And every year I had to replant I got smart. And then I started planting perennials that they come back every year, which helped me because then it helped me in the landscaping, which I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about a little bit later about the landscaping. But there are some things that essential practices that you need to do when you're gardening. So you want to prepare your soil, okay? Ensuring that your soil health with proper pH levels, nutrients, and textures. Okay, that is very important. I never really put anything into my soil until maybe really and truly, I'm going to tell you, until after I went to that class at the library where she talked about the container gardens. That is when and so I use, there's several things that I use, I will tell you to prepare my soil, and one of them is called blood meal. And you only use a little bit, and you just sprinkle. I just sprinkle a little bit on that, and it has a lot of nutrients in it. And then the other one is fish fertilizer from the fish. It stinks. Both of them are very stinky. Uh, but they work. They really make your flowers just really bloom. And there are a lot of them out there. I remember because in my community we have a garden walk, and sometimes I ask the people because their gardens are so gorgeous, y'all. I ask them what they use, and some of them have told me different things. I still use cow manure as well, but now I also use mushroom compost because mushrooms, you can use that as compost. And I'm even thinking about getting me uh, a compost bin, to throw into so I can, fertilize because that's you can make your own compost. All right, so your plant selection. You want to choose plants suited to the local climate and soil condition where you live. You don't want to go like I got now. I got a, 'cause now I told you I'm always experimenting. So I am growing an avocado uh, seed. Well, really and truly, it really needs to go into the ground, but I have never seen avocado trees here in the Midwest, so I don't know if that will work. I'm gonna experiment and put it out there because you take the seed and you put it in water and you let the roots come up. But the plant is, oh my God, the plant is this long, y'all. So it's ready to go into the ground. It's got so many roots, but I can experiment it with and put it out there and see what will happen. But I've never seen it. But you never know. The climate, really and truly, this global warming is changing everything. So it's a possibility for anything to always try. You want to water. Watering is very important. It doesn't matter whether your plants are outside or inside. You got to water them. Regular. You gotta regularly remove of weeds, which can be time consuming, or but the thing about it is, I try to remove mine when it rains because it's easier to pull them up when it rains. Because you don't want the weeds to compete with your plants because they will compete with your plants to get the nutrients that you put down there for your plants. Weeds is something. I have, when I go out now, I'll tell you right now, when I go out now, what I do is I take my phone with me because Google has a little I guess a little square like thing, and you can put it on there to see whether or not it's a plant or a weed. And I have been doing that ever since I got poison ivy. Now, how I got it, the doctor told me I had it, but the thing about it is the birds drop little things in there, so evidently they must have dropped some seedings in my garden, and I was out there, so my leg kept itching. I didn't know I had poison ivy, so you just have to be really, really careful with that. Also, pest control. You want to manage the pests through organic methods such as companion planting and natural predators, or using chemical controls when necessary. What I learned here recently is that marigolds. A lot of times people plant marigolds by their tomatoes or something like that because the snakes, the rabbits, and all of them, they don't like the smell of the marigold. So like I said, when you learning about plants, you learn these different things and how you can put them into your garden and how you can help it be landscape your garden. So we're going to take another little brief commercial, and then we will be right back, and we're going to continue our discussion on gardening, and we're going to talk a little bit about landscaping, because you're doing all of this garden. You want to make sure that your yard, even your patio, or even if you have a balcony, you want to make sure that it looks beautiful. Okay, that's the way you want to uh, represent. You just want to represent that way. All right, so we will be right back.
Join the She Trucking Foundation today and be a part of a supportive community of women in the trucking industry. Unlock exclusive access to valuable resources, including mentorship, educational workshops, and networking opportunities. Whether you're an experienced professional or just starting your trucking journey, She Trucking is here to empower you and help you thrive. Visit www.shetrucking.com to join us and drive your trucking career to new heights.
All right, so I'm back. I'm Anna. I'm the host of Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. And this evening we are talking about transforming the outdoors, the art and science of gardening and landscape. So I talked a little bit about gardening, and these are just little things that I'm talking about. Is there You can do more research into it, but this kind of like get you started and going. But I want to talk a little bit about the types of landscaping. Did you know that there were types of landscaping? I did not know. But as I read these, you are aware of them. You just didn't know the name of them. Okay. So the first one is hardscaping. And what that one is incorporating non-plant elements like the patio, the walkway, retaining walls, and water features. So you can sometimes you go to people's yard and they might have a pool, with fish and things in there. They might have water streaming down. So those are called hard scaping. Then you have soft scaping, and that is planting trees, shrubs, flowers, and grass to create um, a balanced and appealing environment. So once you get into your planting, then you want to maybe plant some trees. I have planted 2 trees, and I have cut down some trees. When I moved here, I had 2 weeping willow trees. I hate I had to cut them down, but one of them was messing with my plumbing, the sewage, the roots. They like water. Weeping willow trees like water. And so it was kind of close to my house. And so I had to cut that one down so it wouldn't mess with my plumbing. So I left the other one up. And lo and behold, we had a real bad storm and lightning struck it. And it struck it in a way that it did come down. Part of it came down. So the part that came down was dead. And The other part was living. I really wanted, because those type of things happen to weeping willow trees. I really wanted to leave it, but the city would not let me leave it, so I had to cut that one down as well. So not to be outdone, the water reclamation um, district or here, they work a lot with the communities and the environment. And so they had a program going on where you could go and get compost, because that's what they do at the water. They recycle the waste and stuff. And so you could go there and get the rich compost, and they might have this in your community where you live as well. Just check it out. The what is coming, and they do a lot of things. They give away books. They give away rain barrels, and I'm gonna talk about rain barrels a little bit. So check in your neighborhood. It's a great thing for children to get involved in, as far as planting. So, not to be outdone, I planted a red oak tree because they were giving them out. They were giving out oak, three types of trees. Well, I got all three, but only one lived. So I tell you this because trial and error. I'm back to that trial and error again. But that one little tree, that red oak tree, is growing very nicely now. It was a little bent over, but now it's sturdy and the leaves is coming up. It's no bigger than this, you all. I mean, this is like, if this is the ground, it's about here. Okay, so it was very, very small. I probably will not live to see its lifetime, but it's there, and I love red oak trees. I love the leaves and stuff. And then I planted another tree. I don't even know what it's called. It's just, it blooms, and it's mine blooms white flowers with the little they look like small little hibiscus. Okay. But they also come in like a pink, and then there's a darker color. I can't think of the name of it. I plant things and I don't know the name of them. But I've also planted that, and that one is, it's about this high now. So I'm one of those ones that even in my house plants, I like to start out with little plants, baby plants, and watch them grow. Okay, I like that. And so the other type of landscaping is called sustainable landscaping, and that is it is designed to conserve water, and they use a lot of native plants, and it also reduces the need for chemical inputs. So, sustainable landscapes you might see in a garden, park, or also in, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but also in some of the environments like wildlife, they have sustainable landscape, and I'll talk about that just a little bit, more. Now, even though I'm talking about landscaping, um, the landscaping has designs. There's different ways that you can design your landscaping. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so there are 5 ways, basically, and some of them might be familiar. You might be familiar with it because they use these. Some of these they use in art forms when they're talking about art, or when you're doing something, you got to have a focal point and things like that. But the first one I want to talk about is unity, creating a cohesive look by repeating elements and using a consistent design pattern. So I try to kind of include a picture that would incorporate kind of all of these elements, design elements. Now, you might not find all of these elements in your landscape and design, but more than likely you're going to find a few of them in. I just tried to find one. So I felt like this picture represented unity. This creates a cohesive look, and it's also repeating the elements. You got rocks on both sides, trees on both sides, things like that. So it gives you the consistency of a pattern. Then it also has balance. So it's ensuring a visual equilibrium through symmetrical or asymmetrical arrangements. And all that is even and odd, okay? Symmetrical or asymmetrical. It's either going to be even, have an even group of people, things there. That's with anything, or it's going to be an odd group, okay? So if we look, there are 9 bushes up here, which means it's odd. Then you have one tree over there. That's an odd. So it's either, I know that in cake decorating, we always use asymmetrical. We always used um, an odd number thing when we were putting our decorations on the cake. So it doesn't fall in this category, but you use this also in other ways of life. And then it's proportional, keeping the size of the plants and elements in the scale within the surrounding areas. So sometimes when you go to resorts and you see waterfalls and all those, that's what that is. It's proportional. You go in, you say, "Oh, this looks so good. It's so refreshing. Oh my God!" You can feel it. Okay, and then the rhythm. Guide the eye through the landscape using patterns and repetition and sequencing. So when you look at this, you feel serene. You feel like you can feel the water coming down. You just feel refreshed. And then there's a focal point. To me, the focal point in this picture is the waterfall. You want to highlight specific areas or features to draw attention and create interest. So the first thing when I look at it, I look at the waterfall. I say to myself, "Ooh, and then uh oh, you never knew that? I don't know what you never knew because I done talk so much." But the thing about it is, and when I tell you, it's a lot of things that I don't know. I'm still learning about the garden. I'm so mad right now about my garden because I started planting my garden back in the 1st of March on my porch. Some of the things grew and some of them didn't. So it's so discouraging when it doesn't. Especially when you start early. Okay, so some of those things I'm probably gonna have to right. Some of those things I'm probably just gonna have to plant seeds into the ground like I normally I normally do. I know, girl. You know how it is when I get to talking. It is a learning experience. It is gardening is a learning experience. You learn so much from it now, and I learn from other people just from talking to other people. Now I am a member of the garden club, but most of my tips and things like that I have learned through research and also from other people. I learned about the mushroom compost from a gentleman that visited my booth, my jewelry booth, and we got to talking about flower. And he used raised gardens, raised garden boxes. And so I've always had a desire for that. And so this year I was able to obtain. And that's another thing. It can be expensive, so you work it in moderations. Okay, you plan it and budget it out. But he's the one that told me about the mushroom compost. So I use it all. I use the fish fertilizer. I use the blood meal as well as the other. And I spray. I spray my, because the little bugs get on it. The bugs. And I do have, and I use organic spray because I don't want any chemicals on it. So there are some things out here that you can use where you don't have to use chemicals like they do when you buy it from the grocery store. That's why I like doing my growing my own. I like growing my own food. That's the best. That is just the best way to do that. So we are going to move on, and we're going to talk a little bit about environmental considerations. So when you are gardening, you just sometimes you don't even think about all of the things that go into it and all of the things that we benefit from it. So, water conservation, implementing exerscaping principles, using drought tolerant plants, and installing a rain garden. Now, many of you all might say you haven't seen a rain garden, but I think you have if you go to the zoo. Most zoos have rain gardens. Okay. And that is a way of also um, working with the animals in their habitat so they feel comfortable. They feel like they're in their own environment. Soil health, using compost and mulch to improve soil structure and fertility. Now, like I told you, I use cow manure, I use compost, I use the blood life, I use the fish fertilizer for that. But before, when I first started planting, I didn't use any of those because I didn't know. I didn't know what to use. It's just that through my interest and learning about the gardens and everything that I uh, have come along. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, people stop me when I'm in the yard to talk about my garden, how pretty it is. And I don't think it's pretty at all, but I do. Um, Sometimes I plan like I last year. I my go to last year was dahlias, and so I planted, and they all came up. All my dahlias came up, and but what I was supposed now this is me experimenting again. I was supposed to. Those are the type of plants that you have to pull. You have to dig up the bulb and save it for for the next year. So I decided not to. I decided I was gonna mulch it, and not one has come up yet. But we're gonna see. But in the meantime, I have some other dahlias that I've grown, and I have them on the back porch. They're ready to go. Yeah. But I love dahlias, and so that was my. Each year, I try to do something different or add to what I'm doing. So I still have not. I'm going to talk about this one. The native plants. There are some that I still have not mastered. The black eyed Susan I have. Most of them the prairie flowers I have, but there's just one, that cornflower. I have done everything. People have given it to me. And I just don't know what it is about that flower that I can't grow it. Oh, and I try every year because I like it. That purple leaves and stuff. And you go to other people's yard, it looks so good, but I just cannot get it in mine. So native plants, selecting plants native to the area to promote biodiversity and also to reduce the maintenance needs. So um, I try to plant because I'm in the Midwest, so try to plant. Like I said, the native plants, but I also have all kinds of plants because I like plants and I like the flowers. I like fresh flowers in my house, and so I do plant them. I do cut them and bring them into my house. Also, wildlife habitat. This is what I was telling you before. Designing spaces that provide food, shelter, and nesting sites for local wildlife. And so I included this because you can see all the different types of wildlife in that. But I also think about the rainforest at the zoo, or they also have a wildlife habitat there. They try to make the environments where they are. conducive to the living environments that they would have if they were on the outside of instead of being, uh, on the outside as opposed to being contained in the system. So those are some of the things we're going to take another commercial, you all, and then we'll be back. And when I come back, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the seasonal tips as well as the tools and the equipment that you need to get started with. Okay, we'll be right back.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
All right, we are back. I'm Anna. I'm the host of Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. And this evening we are looking at the art and science of gardening and landscaping. And so we just finished talking about the environmental considerations. So I want to give you some tips, some seasonal tips, things that you can do in the spring, things that you can do in the summer, the fall, and the winter. So garden is just not for the spring and summer. You truly have to do gardening all year. So in the spring, what you want to do is you want to prepare your soil. You want to start planting and managing your weeds. That's what you want to do in the spring, which I think I've done most of this. I have problems with managing the weeds because if it's hot, I'm just not going to do it. But if it is like it rained this evening, so tomorrow I will get out there and I'll pull up. But I'll get out there early because we've been having 90-degree weather here. So I'll get out there early. So I'm elderly. I can't be out there in that heat. I have heat stroke and all that stuff. So I'll get out there early in the morning and kind of pull up some of those weeds. And then in the summer, all you want to do is you want to maintain, be consistent with watering and managing your pests and prune plants. Now, this was something that I was not I was not good at. I'm gonna really say that I don't think I'm still not good at it, but I am beginning to master pruning your plants. And we all need to prune them because it's just basically going in the middle, but finding the middle is the thing. You go in the middle and you pinch that out. And what it does, it makes that plant grow outward as opposed to up. It's still going to grow up, but it gives it a little more fullness to it and it blooms a little bit more. So there are some equipment that you use to do that. And then in the fall, you want to harvest all your remaining crop. This is when you want to plant your perennials and prepare your garden for the winter. Now, like tulips and irises and those things, I did not show that on here, but I have what is called a bulb planter. And it's a round apparatus like this, and it has a little handle on it. And what you do is you just push it down into the dirt. And when you bring it up, the height of it is where the bulb should go. So once you bring that up, then you're going to place the bulbs in the dirt, and then you're going to place the remaining dirt back over that. And then in the spring, you'll have flowers. Now, I have done that with several flowers. My church during Easter time always has tulips and lilies And so I keep them in the house until, they almost died. And then I plant them outside and they come back every year. Every year they have come back. So keep that in mind. Those are the type of things that you want to do uh, for the winter. Now, some plants you grow in the winter, okay, or in the fall. You start them in the fall, and that's garlic. It's like you babysit. It's like a child. So, but you just have to learn. Get your book and read. I have many many books on plants, whether they're in the house or outside. I'm always going to YouTube, and you can go to nurseries, and they will tell you about different types of plants as well. Now, in the winter, you want to protect your plants from frost. Plan next season's garden and start seeds indoors. Now, I'm not there yet, but that same lady that I was telling you about that did the container gardens, she plants her gardens in the winter so that, and she covers them up. And then in the spring, they grow during the winter. And then in the spring, she opens them up, and that's it. So that's how some of these people, you see all these gardens up there. So I'm not there yet, but I would love to try that. So she has greens all year round, she said. Greens and her beans and cabbages and stuff like that. But I said, Lord, if the Lord let me live long enough, Lord, let me live long enough. I'm gonna get this gardening down pat, because I grew up in the South and we always had gardens. We lived off of the land, and I kind of miss that somewhat. And then let's talk a little bit about the tools, you all, that you would use for gardening. There's some hand tools, trowels, pruners, which I just told you about, and these are just a few pictures, so that sometimes people need pictures to see what they actually look like. And if you have never been into gardening, you would not know. Everyone knows what a saw is, but this is here is a weed thing where you pick up the weeds. This is trowel. This is a pitchfork. I use a pitchfork a lot because I grow horseradish and it's a root. And so you have to get down into the ground to get those things up. And then these power tools. Most of us know about the lawnmower, okay? The leaf blower, the hedge trimmer, all of these are part of landscaping. You basically need these items to do landscaping. You have the small tools, you have the power tools, and then you have the irrigation system. Now, there's a drip irrigation, which I love that. I have a hose that has little tiny holes in it, just like this one that you see here. And you just hook it up and it gives like a drip. So your flowers, it's constantly watering them because it's just a little hole. And then you see some people use sprinklers. Okay, that's another way of doing an irrigation system. And also, we have rain barrels. Now, I have two rain barrels, but I just got them. I got them last year. A friend of mine gave me. She is a what you call. I can't even think of it now. A gardener, a certified gardener. It's another name for it. I can't think of it right now. But oh God, I can't think. It's on the tip of my tongue. But she gave me. She had several rain barrels, so she gave me one of her rain barrels, and then I ordered a rain barrel. The rainwater is good because when you have that drought season and you've stored your water in there, you can still water your plants, even in the part of the winter time, because you can take that rainwater and put it in containers and you can still water your plants with it. So, rainwater is the best water there is um, for your plants. So we are going to take one more commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a summary of what I just talked about with the gardening. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let me see.
Does this resonate with you? Has a company ripped you off in the past? SettleShark is changing how consumers get money back from companies. SettleShark assists consumers during the entire process, from beginning to end. Our process is simple, convenient, affordable, and powerful. You're in control. We are here to help you. Contact us today at www.settleshark.com or call 1-888-704-0708.
All right, we're back. I'm Anna. I'm the host of Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast. And today the episode was on the art and science of gardening and landscaping. And so we just kind of finished up talking about these things. But I also want you to think about gardening and landscaping as rewarding activities that combine creativity, environmental stewardship, and physical activities. Whether you're creating a small garden or designing an elaborate landscape, these practices enhance your outdoor living space and contribute to a healthier environment, which in turn contributes to a healthier lifestyle. So, I just wanted to say thank you for visiting, and please come back again. And I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I also have listed down there in the bottom, that's scrolling across the stream. So I want to again say thank you for just visiting, coming by and visiting. And I'm just hoping that in some kind of way that this episode has inspired you. I'm hoping that we have encouraged you. And I'm hoping that we have empowered you to get on out there and get that garden started. So I also reminded you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I have down there in the bottom. And as I leave you, I also want to remind you to please live your life by the 3 L's. So the first one is life. You want to live your life to the fullest. The second one is to laugh. Remember to laugh. Okay? Laughter brings so much joy into your life. So bring some laughter into your life and bring laughter into others' life. Be kind, with your words. And then the last thing is self-love or self-care. The most important person that you can help is yourself. Love yourself. You are important, and don't remember that. And remember to always do acts of kindness in your everyday life. And remember that I'll be here every Wednesday, uh, giving you a little knowledge, maybe bringing you a guest speaker from time to time on to speak on certain topics and knowledge. So I hope you enjoyed this today. So as I go out, I will show you my sponsors and my recognition for those people who have helped me along the way. Have a great one.